This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let us start the today's session. So, in the today's class, we are going to discuss one more section in the TOSCA, which is the final section. So, till all these days, we have learnt and discussed something about modules, test cases, and test case design. So, once we have completed all these sections and make sure that our test cases are completed, now it is time to learn something about the execution section. So, why do we need to use this execution section? What is this execution section? And how do we use this, and all these things we will be learning in this today's class. So first of all, till all these days, how are we executing our test cases? We are executing our test cases in the scratch book. So why do we execute our test cases in the scratch book? And from today, why do we execute in the execution section? So what is the difference between that and the disadvantage? First, suppose, let me say something to you. So about this scratch book. So all these days we are executing our test cases in the scratch book, right? So first of all, what is this scratch book? Even in the normal times, normal meaning when we speak on a daily basis, scratchbook means which is used for scribbling something, uh, preparation. If you are, if you bought a pen and if you want to make sure that whether the pen is working or not, what do you do? Basically, you just take a rough paper or scratchbook or a piece of paper and scrub on it whether the pen is working. So in the same way, if I try to correlate, when I am developing my test cases, when I am able to say that my test case is completed, so first I need to check whether my test case is working or not. So I will be executing them in the sketchbook. Correct. So if your pen is working, when you scrub it on a piece of paper, then you will buy the pen and you will use it on a normal place. In the same way, if my test case is working as scratchbook, I mean, if I make sure my test case is completed and it is working fine in the scratchbook, then I will be moving my test case into the final execution. It is just only a place where exactly I'm going to make sure that my test case is working fine or not during the phase of development or designing or creating or scripting, whatever the terminology you call it or name it. So this scratchbook will be used only when you are working on the test case section, right? And all these days, now when we are execute, now I'm saying that we need to move to the execution section. So why do we need to move this execution section? You can ask me, although anyways we are making our test cases executing in the scratchbook, right? So again, why do we need to go to the execution section, right? The reason behind going into the execution section is there are some disadvantages with this scratch book. So if you can see the scratch book, are you able to see any of the previous execution results over here? No. So the main disadvantages of this scratch book is whenever once you have completed running and execution of your test case, you would not be able to see the results getting saved over here. Now you can ask my question, Madhav, what is the point of saving the results? Saving the results means, so probably you would be coming to know what error it is and why the error has come, where the error has come. Now you can ask me one more question. Madhav, when we execute in the scratch book, obviously we will be able to see the logs, right? So you are able to see the logs, but the logs are not getting saved. You can't show it as a proof to someone that my test case has passed or that my test case has failed at so and so place. I have fixed it. So no one can believe that we have executed because the results won't be saved, the logs won't be saved. And what happens is whenever you run or rerun again, or suppose if you have run the test case, it got passed. Again, if you rerun, the earlier results would not be saved. Only the latest run results only would be saved in the scratch. These are the disadvantages. And one more thing, I forgot to mention that we cannot generate the reports, write a reports generation. Now you can ask me, Mother, what is the point of generating the reports in this execution? So basically, you have completed the execution, but you want to send a file or a list or a report to your manager or a lead or a client saying that yes, our execution has been completed. These many test cases have been executed. So many got passed and these have got failed, and we are working on the remaining things. So this kind of report, if you want to send it to the clients or manager, so you can't send them for the execution what has been happened on the scratchbook. So these are the disadvantages of the scratchbook. So that is the reason we are going to learn something about the execution section, which is the final step. So basically here, whatever has been developed so far, I will be moving straight away here itself and I will be executing my test cases from here. So the disadvantages of the scratchbook will obviously and absolutely becomes the advantages of the execution section. So what is the first disadvantages of the scratchbook? The results would not be saved. So in the execution section, the results would be saved, logs would be saved, you can generate the reports and you can execute n number of times, all the logs will be present, right? This is the basic differences between the scratchbook, or you can also say the advantages or the disadvantages of scratchbook and execution section, right? So now what we will be doing is we will be straight away going into the execution section and we will be working upon it. What I shall do is, for example, I shall delete all these things. For example, let us consider that nothing is there. There is just only a single folder. So now what I'm trying to do is, how do we execute? How do we get our test cases here? What is the execution list? All these things we will be seeing now. So on this folder, I am just giving a right click. After giving a right click, there is an option called create execution list folder. So first of all, what do you mean by execution list? I am saying I will be executing my test cases in the execution section. Fine. Then what is this execution list? Execution list is nothing but the group of test cases which you are planning to execute. So all the list of test cases which you plan to execute will be present over here. So I'm just creating this execution list folder. After creating this, I'm just going to name it as December 28th run. So I'm just giving the name as December 28th run so that it will be easy to remember for me. So I can think that, okay, this execution list has been executed on December 28th. These test cases have been executed on December 28th. So they can understand easily. I have just, it is up to your convenience. You can give any name as your own, right? After this execution list folder, then what I will be doing, I will be just giving one more right click. Then you can see an option called create execution list. Either you can create an execution list here, or simply the shortest method of using is, for example, let us say that you want to execute this test case. For example, let us consider that I want to execute register a user, because the first step is registration of user, right? I am just dragging my test case and I am leaving it onto the execution list folder. So now what you can see, automatically a new execution list has been created, and you can also see what is the actual test case. This is the actual test case what you have dragged and dropped. Register a user best practices. This is the name of a test case, and this is a new execution list. It is up to you if you want to rename it. You can also rename it, register a user. Now, can you see to your right hand side? See, this is actually the execution list and this is the actual test case. Can you see here log information? This is single test case. It is still in white color. If you execute it and if it is getting passed, it will turn into green color, and if it is getting failed, it will be turning out into red color. Start time in the sense, see now today 28th December 2021 at 7:15 I have created this execution list, and when I execute it will also show how much time it has taken to execute, and it will save all the results. Now whatever the execution and how many test cases do I want to execute, I can just place it over here. For example, let us say I want to execute this login test case. Get this to the execution section, just leave it on the execution folder. So what is the second one? The name of the second test case is, I'm just giving this name, login a user, right? And then which test case you want to execute? I want to execute this table operation. For example, it is not mandatory that you need to execute. Whatever the test cases you have completed, you can execute everything over here. See, table operation, for example. Just showing it as a, see, another execution list has been created. Just need rename it table operations. Okay, now these are the three test cases. Now you can see totally this is your execution list folder. It is containing three execution list, means actual test cases. Total count is three, and each, and it will also show you what is the individual test case. Right? For example, I will try to get more for you. Right? For example, let us consider that there is something called Excel operations. Let us get these Excel operations as well. Excel operations, then whatever, then PDF operation. You get the PDF operation as well. I'm just renaming it PDF operations. Oh, sorry, I closed it. Right, I closed my test cases. So, file operations. So now you can see, for example, I have created an execution list folder with 6 execution lists. Means these are the 6 different functionalities or the test cases which you want to work upon. Now, if you want to jump to your test case, this is your actual test case. If you want to go to your test case, you can just give a right click and you can see an option called jump to test case. You can directly click on this jump. You will be navigating from where you have got this test case, right? This is simple, very easy. See, whatever we have done, all these complete 27 or 26, 28 days, whatever it might be. So we are just using the test cases and moving them into execution list, and we will be executing it from here. There is nothing much more description in this, right? So now what I will be doing, now you understood, but I'll tell you one more point. Now you can easily understand. I will just try to pull the test cases. Now I'll ask you one more question. Now see, if I want to execute the test cases which are present in the instances, template instances. So now can you guess which, should I move a template or should I move an instance to execute them?
Instance model.
So what I will be doing is, because my template doesn't contain any data, it is only containing the syntaxes and these things. So I will be moving this instance folder if I want to execute. For example, if I want to execute this execution section, I will just leave it on my execution list folder. So what has happened, a new execution list has been created. I will just name it as, sorry, just name it as instance test cases. For example, I'm just mentioning it as instance test cases. Now you can see this instance test cases execution list consists of how many things? 6 test cases. It has totally 6 test cases, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is referring to your instance folder. Jump to test case folder, you can see here. Instance folder, you have come here. Like this, you can easily drag and drop your test cases and you can execute. Can you see now how many test cases does your execution list folder contains? Totally 12 means. So easily someone can understand that, okay, December 28th run, you have planned to execute 12 test cases. They have planned, but you haven't executed them. And you can also see the start time for each and everything. See, this is pulled into execution list at 7:15. If you see the last one, it is showing at 7:20, means it will also show the time when you have pulled into the execution list, right? Like this we will be doing. Now what I'll be doing is, for example, let me run the test cases one by one and I'll show you. I'll just execute this, right click, run. Now it is not run in Scratchbook. Scratchbook is gone. Now it is only the directly run option. Again, the shortcut is same F6. You can just click on this and just minimize this so that the execution will be getting started. It is a normal thing here. All these days, what we have seen in the execution, it's the same. Nothing change is going to happen. The same test cases what we have executed in Scratchbook, we are executing now from the execution section. That's it. But why I just want to show you this is the way it looks, the way the reports get generated, the way the logs get saved. So I want to show you the differences over the Scratchbook and the advantages of execution and how it works. So I think our first test case is completed. Right. Now can you see what is going to happen? Now can you see, as I told, if you planned to execute, when you plan to execute, it will show in white color. Now, when you execute it and it has got passed, it will show in the green color. It is also telling you when you have executed. See, at 7:21:33 seconds you have executed, and it has taken 28 seconds and 776 milliseconds to execute. It will show you the complete. This is the log. So it will show you the complete steps. Complete. Can you see? Each and everything, whatever you are doing, waiting, buffering, everything, everything it will show you step by step, right? So now can you see if I execute one more time? For example, I'm just saying why I'm trying to say you is I want to show you multiple logs. Everything will be present. I am just clicking on run. I'm running the same test case. The functionality is same, but the reason is, let us see. Yeah, it is clicking on register. Again, it is going on filling all this registration process. This is simple. Verifying this. Right. Now it has completed its execution two times. Can you see? The first log is this one, 721. The latest log is 723. Now the reason is, can you see, even it is executing multiple times, it will try to save all the logs. But in the scratchbook, are you able to see any of the log? No, you won't be able to see. The previous log will be gone. So how many number of times you execute it will clearly show when you have executed, at what time, how much time it has taken, complete details it will show you. This is the one of the advantages of the execution section. So why I'm specifically showing you and telling this is they might be asking in an interview. So please remember these points. So it will be beneficial and easy for you. Now, the second, just try to execute a couple of test cases and I will try to generate. Why I'm executing is I will just generate a report so that you can see how the report looks like. For that purpose, I'm just executing another couple of test cases. It looks simple for you. Okay. Now it is just logging in. Okay. Now it is fine. This small test case. Right. So it has completed. Now you can see the table operations, right? If I want to execute the table operations, I need to open the table. I think I have not opened that. Yeah, this is the one. I think I don't know which one we have automated. Okay, let me execute this. Run. I'm just executing the test case simply. Oh, I think we have created three scenarios, right? It is continuously executing these three scenarios. Okay, understood. It has just got passed. Fine. Now, what is it? The fourth one, the Excel operations. I'm just executing this. It also got passed. I'm trying to see if any test case gets failed. So I want to show you how a test case looks when it is failed. Can you see now your execution list? Now, can you see the progress? You have total of 12, 4 got passed, and 8 are to do state, which are not executed. If it is failing, red. Let us run this PDF operations. I want to show you the differences between all these things. So let us see. It is taking this much of time. I think it is going to fail. Yes, I think it will fail because the reason is verification will be failing because when we have automated this, we have given a date expression, right? That date, from that date, we have calculated the past date. Now we have created the test case on one day and we are executing on one day. I think the date expression will be failing. So let it fail. Yeah, I think it has got failed. Now you can see how the test case looks like when it is failed. Can you see it is showing it in red color and it will also show you where it has failed. See, can you see here? See where all the steps have been executed. Relieving date. Verification has failed. You can see here. I'm expecting this value, but the output is this value. Correct? On the day we tried with different scenarios, right? I think I have left like that only. So this is if I change the format now I'll tell you one more point. Now it is failing here. So when it is failing, what you need to do, you need to fix it. How to fix? Simply this is failing, right? Give a right click, jump to test step, means where it is failing. See, it is failing here, relieving it, it is showing, right? Now here in this I need to change it. What is the value that I am getting? Example, I need to change here. I need to get month, right? What is the format? Month space dd comma I think this is the thing. And how many days should I go back? March 31st, right? 27 plus 7 days means 28 days I need to go back. Let me run this. Now I saved it. Now guys, why I'm trying to show you this point is, now in case if your test case is getting failed, try to understand why it is failing. It is showing that the verification has failed, the reason, the log information. What it is saying, you are expecting this value, but the actual value you are need is this one. So what you need to do is you need to get this value. So it is very simple. Then what you need to do, you need to go back to your test case and fix it, whatever you have done. And then what you need to do, you save it, then come back here. Now tell me, if I run it, will it be passing or will it be failing? Just as per your guess, a test case has got failed. I came to know why it has got failed, understood the reason, went back to my test case and fixed it. Now I have saved it. Again, I'll come back to my execution section. I want to run it. Now, as per your guess, will it pass or will it fail?
It will pass.
Okay, let us try execute this and say right click. I'm just executing this. Run. I'm just running it. We'll see. So it is taking time to start the execution. It has got passed. Simple. I don't know why do you guys think so much of time. Okay, but please remember one point. Sometimes this is a single workspace. The reason why I asked this question is this is a single workspace. So if you just click on save, the changes are reflecting everywhere. But in the real time, in the multi-user workspace, whenever you made any change to the test case, and if you are again executing that here, so what you need to do is you need to synchronize. Means like how previously when we change something in the template, if the change wants to be reflected, we are doing reinstantiation. Control R, reinstance, right? In a similar way, when my test case gets failed, if I fixed something or modified something, and if that change wants to be reflected here, I need to right click. There is an option called synchronize. You need to do synchronize finished. But this is a single user workspace, so it will be directly reflected. Right now, the verification has got passed. Now you can see here. Now it is passed. Earlier result is failed. It will show all the results. That is what I am saying. It will not only show the pass one. Earlier it is failed. Now it has passed. Clearly, you have done everything. Right? Now this is how you basically execute your test cases. Like if you want to make it as a failed, I can. If you want, to, you can also delete the log. Right click, delete. Can you see it is failed again? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me execute one more test case and then I'll generate the report. I'm just executing the last one, so it has got passed. Okay, fine. Now, see how your execution list looks like. So you have a total of 12, 5 executed, 1 passed, and 6 more. So now I want to show you the report how it looks like, right? Now you have executed your test cases, you have saved. Now your execution is completed, or your manager or client is asking, share me the report or generate a report for the execution, whatever has been completed so far, right? Now what you can do is just give a right click. There is an option called print report. Print report, you can see four different options. When you are practicing, try with these four different options. I mean reports would be the same, but there is a slight difference in the way it gets generated. For example, if I generate the report with execution entries with actual log and issues. So it doesn't take much time, couple of minutes. So it is asking in which format. By default, it is a PDF format, and if they ask you in different format, just select whatever format you want, and you can generate a report. I'm just selecting by default PDF. I'm just clicking on start. All right, it is asking me where I want to save this. So I'm just going to batch 14. I'm just placing this here and test run December 28th. I'm just saving it with this name. Save. So your report has been generated and it will by default open. Now can you see this is your report? Just minimize this. See, now you can see this, right? This is the report execution test report created on 28th December. You can see in which version we have used execution overview. It will show you test total test cases 12%, passed is 5, no result is 6, failed is 1. It will show you the pie chart as well. Can you see here? Total 6 are in no result, 5 passed and 1 failed. It will show you which test case you have executed and what is the table also. It will show you clearly. See, this is the first test case. It is passed. This is the second test execution details for to log in a user passed. Now you can see like this. This is a sample report with detail of see execution details for PDF operations. It got failed. See, and then final file of I think I didn't give a proper name. File operations. Okay, that is fine. Instance test cases. I have not executed it. Right, like this. See, it will show you the report. This is one kind of report. Okay, now I'll generate a report with the most used one. So in the real time, if they want to generate a report, right click, print report, and this is the process they use execution entries with detailed logs. Now you are not able to see any information, right? With the previous one, actual log and issues, it is just only trying to show you whether it is passed or failed. That's it. It is not showing any other information. Now create a report with this execution entries with detailed logs. I'm just trying to execute again the same PDF format, right? I'm just saving it 28th underscore 1, for example, save it. Now, can you see? Do you want only failed test cases to be shown? Sometimes in the interview, they will ask you, let us say that I have executed 10 test case, 2 test cases has got failed. Now, can you generate me a report only for 2 failed test cases? If they ask you, now you can select this detailed logs and you can select this yes. If you select this, what will happen? Do you want only the failed test cases to be shown? Only failed test cases will be shown. If you select no, what will happen? It will show all the things. It will show past ones, failed ones, not executed ones. It will show everything. Basically, we want to show a report with everything, right? So I select it as a no. But if someone asks you, can you generate a report only for failed test cases? Means you can say yes. We can generate a report only for failed test cases. How means when we select the execution entries with the detailed logs, it will ask you a user input, right? I'm just clicking on OK. Now, second thing, do you want the screenshots included? For example, in many of the test cases, we might use the T-box take screenshot to take the test case screenshots, right? If there are any test case screenshots like that in your execution list, if the test cases contains, if you also want these screenshots to be included in the execution report, you can report. You can just give yes or no. Yes, where it is asking in between. I means below the test case, or you want all the screenshots at the end. So it is up to your convenience. I think in our execution, okay, I'll keep in the end, but I think we won't get any screenshots because we test cases, whatever we have executed, there doesn't contain any screenshots. So I'll just click on OK. Now it is generating the report. See how easy the reports generation becomes easy in TOSCA. Now can see again by default it has got opened. Same format, execution test report, created version. Now can see total same execution summary. See, this is the same chart, but here now you will be seeing the detailed logs. Previously, you have just seen register user passed or failed. Now you see detail started, end time, executed by. It will show you step by step. First, you have started T-box start program. You open the URL, click on register. But when you are clicking on this, what you have done, first you waited here. After that, you have clicked. What input you have given also it will show you first name, what buffer you have given. See, you can see complete detail log. This is a second test case, right? This is the third test case. Now you can see step by step. This is the fourth test case. And the fifth test case where it is failing, right? And because this fifth test case is failing, now cleanup scenario has come into picture. That is what I told you, right? Whenever your test cases are about to fail, if any verification or validation is failing, your cleanup scenario or recovery scenario comes into picture. It tried to execute the recovery scenario, but we have created recovery scenarios only for application, right? Refresh the page, close the browser, right? We have created, but we haven't created. This is PDF operations, it happens in the backend. So what we will be doing this verification, we have not created any recovery scenario for this. So now if the recovery scenario is not working, what will happen? Your cleanup scenario will come into picture. So I try to close and kill the process. So try to execute tbox any case, close browser, tbox window operation, all these things in the cleanup scenario. But is there any application open? No, right? Because this test case belongs to the backend. I mean, backend it is happening PDF. So it is unable to do all these things also. At last, tbox star program only killed the process. That's it. Right? You can see the sixth test case. The seventh one, it has not executed. It will show you, right? This is how the report looks like, and you can just share it to your team when you are completing the execution. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Clear.
sir.
Any doubts
Yes,
in
sir.
this to anyone?
No,
Okay, so next what we will be doing is, actually, now I'll show you TOSCA course contents. This is only the execution section. There is nothing much about execution section. Where do you execute, how do you execute, and when you execute, what are the things you can do? See, creation of execution lists, right? We have seen how do we create an execution list. We have also seen how do we execute. We have also seen how do we generate the reports. These are the most important things. I mean, only things that you can do on the execution section. But there is some other concept called test mandate. Can you see here? Test mandates. This is important from interview point of view. So what I will be doing is, now I want to explain this test mandates to you. So first of all, what is this test mandate means? It doesn't take much time, actually 5 to 10 minutes of time only it will take. What is this test mandate? See, test mandate is the basic form of distributed execution. Test mandate is basic or standard, the base format for distributing the execution. Now why I am saying this distributing the execution means, now I'll give you a small scenario and example. Now in a real time, when you are working on a multi-user workspace, as we already discussed, for example, in a multi-user workspace, if I want to work, what is the first thing that I should do? I want to check out. Correct? In a multi-user workspace, if I want to work on anything, what is the first thing that I should do? I need to click on checkout and then need to work. If you checked out, will the other teammates will work on, can be able to work on that? No, because it is opened by you. The lock is opened only for your ID. So other people cannot work on the things which you are working upon. So now this situation is clear. Now the actual scenario is, now your manager or client has come back to you saying that we do not have much time. There is an issue in the production. Suddenly it has happened and they're asking us to run the automation suite immediately. They're asking us to run the automation suite immediately, and they're asking us to generate the report in next 15 minutes or 20 minutes probably. Now you will say him, boss, like, see, for example, let us take that how many test cases we have. For example, how many we have execution list, it has 12 test cases. For example, each and every test case takes 5 minutes of time. Let us take an example, right? Simply, I'm just giving you an example. Let us consider each and every test case takes 5 minutes of time. So you have 12 test cases. 12 into 5, 60. 60 minutes means if you run the test cases, it will take 60 minutes only for the execution time. So now 60 minutes, and then you want to generate the report, send a mail, and then probably what is the next thing? If anything is failing, you need to identify why it is failing, go back, fix it, synchronize it, just run it again, generate the report and send it. See, this is how you will do. See, at least 1 hour to 1 hour 10 minutes, 60 minutes to 70 minutes of time it will take to complete the execution. You are saying to your manager that, see, our execution time itself will take 70 minutes completely, 60 to 70 minutes. Then how can I generate a report in 15 minutes and give it to you? Now, what is the chance now? What do we want to do now? So the simple thing is distribute the execution. Now, because if you run on your system, because you checked out, if you check out, others will not be able to work on that, right? Now, even though if you checked out, you can distribute the execution between the team members. Like, let us say there are 3 to 4 people in the team. So what happens, you can distribute the execution between the team, right? You can split the execution, so that what happens, by using the concept of test mandates, I can split or distribute the execution between the team members which are present in a single execution list folder. Please understand my point. You can split the distribute or the test cases between the team members which are present in a single execution list. So how do you do that? Is very simple. I'm just showing it to you. Go to your execution, just give a right click. There is an option. First of all, execution list folder will be there as it is. What I'll do is I'll just rename it as a, for your convenience, I'm just test mandate. For example, it is there. I'm just giving a right click. There you can see something called create test mandate. I will just click on this test mandate. For example, let us say there are 2 to 3 people in the team. For example, let us say I have Kiran in my team, and I'm just creating one more test mandate. What I'm doing, so Kiran is already present in my team, and for example, this she is also present in our team. And like, let us say Charan is also present in our team. Like, let us say first of all there are 3 people. For example, if there are 3 people, now I created a single execution list folder. Now, even these are all present under a single execution list folder. Other people also, they can go to their system. Means Bhagya can go to her system respectively, and she can execute them. Charan will go back to his system, and Kiran will go back to his system. Right? Instead of executing all the test cases in a single system and taking 70 minutes of time, I am splitting the execution between the team members. So what I'm doing, I'm splitting these 2 test cases. I'm just copying it and just placing it under this one. Did it come? Okay, you just move it. Now can you see under the test mandate assigned to Bhagya, I have created 2 test cases, right? And simple thing, I'll just execute assign this for. For example, let us consider this and assign it to Charan, right? And the last one, instance test cases to Kiran. So now what is happening? Now can you see this is the test mandate? Can you easily understand it? So I have created 3 test mandates assigned to Bhagya, Charan, and Kiran, and divided between these 3 people, like 2 test cases, 4 and 6. Now what they will do, even though these test cases are present under a single execution list folder, I can distribute the execution between multiple team members so as to reduce my execution time. Now Bhagya will go to her system. She can check out only this one she will be checking out, and she will be executing. So she will be executing this 2 test cases, and Charan will be executing this 4 test cases. Kiran will be executing this 6. For example, this instance contains six test cases. I have given it to six. Like now, what is happening? If I execute all the 12 test cases in my system, it is taking 60 to 70 minutes of time, right? Now, what is happening now? As an example, Bhagya is taking 10 minutes to complete the execution. Charan is taking 4 into 520. Kiran is taking 6 into 530. Means now the maximum execution time is, what is the maximum execution time? For example, as assumption, if we take 5 minutes per one test case, so what is the maximum time? 6, 5, 30 minutes. Means the maximum execution time you can complete and generate a report is 30 minutes. Previously it is 60 minutes. Now you can see almost you have reduced the execution time to half. 50% you have reduced by using this concept of test mandate. See, this is the most important thing which companies also will look for. See, anyone can do the execution, anyone can create an execution list or a test case, but time optimization, resources optimization, well maintenance, following the best practices, they will expect from an experienced person. See, all the situations will not be in favor for us. Something will not be in favor, right? In that kind of or time of situation, we need to think of something or the concepts what is there to accommodate, right? We have almost reduced 50% of the time. Now, if he is asking 15 to 20 minutes, I want to generate a report, you can say, well, 15 to 20 minutes doesn't work, not at all. So 30 minutes I can generate a report and give it to you. If you have one more member in the team, just split with one more test mandate and execute. It is up to your convenience depending upon the situation, and based upon how many test cases you have, you can split and execute. Right? This is the use of the concept called test mandate. Is it clear for everyone? This is also important from interview point of view. Please remember this. Be very attentive. They can ask you. This is a basic form of distributing the execution. Now you are distributing the execution only between the team members who are present in a single team and which are present under a single execution list, right? Which are present under a single execution list and distributing between the team members, right? That is the use and advantage or benefit of test mandate, basic form of distributed execution. Tomorrow we have advanced. That is what I am repeating. Test mandate is a basic or a standard base format of distributed execution. Tomorrow we are going to learn the advanced concept called the distributed execution. I'll tell you tomorrow, just no worries. But are you guys clear with this execution section today, what we have discussed so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one more final point I want to mention. I just forgot to mention previously. Now, sometimes there might be also one more interview question. Simple. See, basically we have created a test case for test configuration parameters. Means we have created few test configuration parameters on a test case. Correct? For example, this is a test case. These are the test configuration parameters which I have created, and these are specific to the test cases. And even the execution section also contains a tab called test configuration. Now there might be a question. See, when I'm explaining test configuration parameters, what I told, these test configuration parameters can be created only on the test cases and the test case section. Now you can ask me a question, then Madhav, why it is present in the execution section? You can ask me. When you are explaining, you just told it will be only on the test case section, but why it is present in the execution section? The simple thing is, what you are executing, ultimately you are going to execute the test cases. Finally you will be executing your test cases, right? So the test configuration will also be present on the execution section. And what happens, it is very simple. Now there might be an interview question, which has got the highest priority? For example, let us say that I have copied all this. For example, configuration parameters I have copied, I have placed this on my execution. Paste it here. See, now I have got all the configuration parameters. Means this complete. Now what I have done, I have created this test configuration parameters on the execution list folder. Means this will be applicable to all the test cases. But if you want to specifically give it to a specific test case, you can give it. For example, only for this. Okay, 1 second. I am not able to delete. Okay. Okay, it has applied directly to each and everything. So leave it. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, for example, now when you created the test configuration parameter in the test case, for example, you have created a browser called Internet Explorer, right? And synchronization timeout, you have given how much time? For example, what is this? 300, 3000, 30,000, 3 lakh. For example, now here you have given 4. For example, I'm just saying, I want to explain you the situation. Now, see, when you created a test case in the test case section, the configuration parameters are browser Internet Explorer, synchronization timeout is 4 lakh. Now I'm in 40 seconds or 400 seconds or whatever it may be. Now in the execution section, it is Chrome and 300 seconds. So now the question is, which has got the highest priority of the configuration test parameters when you are executing? Now you can ask me, ultimately, I am executing this test case. Whether the configuration parameters of the test case will work or the configuration parameters on the execution section will work. Which has got the highest priority might be the question. So your answer is always the execution section has got the highest priority. Now, when you execute these test cases, it will be executing in the Chrome browser, and the wait whenever you use the action mode wait on, the maximum time it will wait is 300 seconds. Even though you created on the Internet Explorer and 400 seconds, it is specific only to the test case. When you run in the scratchbook, this will work. But when you run in the execution section, this has got the highest priority. These parameters will not reflect and override. Execution has got the highest priority. Right? Is it clear and understood for everyone? So these are the most probable questions that can be asked on the execution section. Right? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to stop this recording.